Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. I got my boy Marcus from our House Divided, Back of the
Go
Bus
blue.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to subscribe to his page also, y'all. And
Appreciate that for sure.
let's just get into it. I mean, we had a crazy game of college football yesterday. Crazy all around the board with Michigan. We had Michigan. We had was it Ohio State's game,
Yeah.
Clemson's game,
Yeah.
But I guess let's go and talk about Michigan, then we'll get to everybody else.
Sounds good.
So what were your thoughts on what we saw from Rutgers, Michigan Rutgers?
So Rutgers, man, Rutgers came out, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The first series, I was a little bit nervous because they were with the long touchdown pass, whatever. That's not Rutgers' MO. So my thinking, okay, they came in here with a totally different game plan. They said they know how we're gonna play us. They're gonna try to stop the run. They're gonna try to run the ball and try to option what Gavin Wimsatt. So when they came out on that first drive, I was like, hey, yo, they prepared to throw the ball. We should be ready. Well, obviously the rest of the game didn't necessarily go like that. They got into their regular offense and just tried to play keep away with the ball. But a lot of positives to take away. Bounce back game from JJ, right? No turnovers this game. His first drive was still a little bit errant. He was a little bit inaccurate, but he got it together quickly. I like the fact that Sharon Moore got him like easy throws. When it was clear that he was still having some rhythm issues, they gave him some easy stuff, some screens to Donovan, some some easy check down routes. Like some guys don't get in rhythm by throwing rhythm throws. That's not how they get in rhythm. You get in the rhythm throwing easy throws. Pitch out to the flat, throw a screen pass, throw a check down. That's how guys start to build their confidence to be able to throw downfield. So I like that they didn't press when he was a little bit shaky, that they kind of letting him feel it out, and that evolved into a halfway decent game. Blake is looking more and more like Blake. I feel like every time we see him, just under 100 yards this game, 2 touchdowns. He looked okay. Donovan, it's tough, man. I wish, honestly, at this point in the season, I wish they would just start throwing him the ball, because nobody in the slot has shown that, like, okay, this is my position. Even with Tyler Morris, he's had some good moments, but ain't nobody came out and been like, all right, this is my spot. Why not just put Donovan in the slot when he's not in the backfield?
Exactly. Was Tyler Morris hurt yesterday? I didn't see him.
He played a little bit. I think he caught one ball. I think he might have caught
Really?
one ball, and he had a punt return. He had a punt return, but Darius Morris, Shamash Morgan had a great play last night or yesterday with the back shoulder fade in the end zone. You'd like to see guys like Frederick Moore and Carmelo English maybe step up, but while it's still a question who it is, man, get him in there. Get him in there. Let him play. At least he's touching the ball. And now you've increased the amount of touches he can get if he's playing slot to a certain degree. I think right now he's just not seeing it well, man, at all. He's not. He did that same thing again, where like he starts to bounce, and he's got a blocker, and instead of him letting that block flush and push his guy out of the way and cut back inside, he thinks he's going to outrun everything. He's trying to outrun everything right now. And to me, that is a sign of not seeing it. You're not seeing the field, man. You're trying to press and make things happen because you've had a lack of production in the first couple of weeks. And that's not necessarily a recipe for success. You can't chase what you've already lost. It's gone. The game's gone. Would we have loved to have seen you get 100 yards in one of them games? Yes, sure. But they're gone. So that doesn't mean you got to come out and get 300 next game to make it a success. I would have considered it a success if we can get Donovan over 50 yards this season. Right now, kind of build on something.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they should. At this point, the way it's going, he should be returning punts and kicks.
Get him the ball in other ways, because he's not seeing it right now from the tailback position. Now, and the reason why I'm saying that, usually you wouldn't say that about tailback. Like a tailback has to run the ball, right? But with Donovan, for the last 3 years, we have been touting him as this super athlete. And now is a time where that should be a benefit because it's not happening right now in the backfield. So get him the ball wherever. Get it to him up the seam, get it to him in the flat, get it to him outside, get it to him anywhere where it's advantageous for him to make a play.
Yeah. I think you have to at this point. And I think honestly, I think it'll help the offense a lot anyway, with you using him more as a receiver or of just a playmaker, basically. Like, we're just going to use you as a playmaker. I'd throw him in some wildcat type stuff, maybe.
Yeah, direct snap. Yeah.
Like, just to get him going, because that's just how it is now. It looks like with him, he's just not seeing it well. And then some of the plays, like, they don't call the same plays for him and Blake.
They can't. They can't send him in between the guards because that's not where he want to run. He gonna bounce
That's
it.
true.
Or he gonna tiptoe through the hole.
That's true. So my thing is, I'd still like to see how he does with a fullback in front of him.
Maybe put Bredesen back there, give him a start. That's another thing too, right? With the offensive line, more so than over the last 2 years, we're getting a lot of the running backs getting contacted before 3 yards, and even sometimes in the backfield, they're having to make guys miss, and so that is something that's different than it has been over the last 2 years, and it's probably a bit of an adjustment for both backs, not just Donovan. I think Blake is obviously handling it a lot better than Donovan is, but they're both having to deal with it. This experiment with Miles Hinton at left tackle, I'm about ready to hang it up. I'm about ready to let it go. Because see, up until this game, Miles Hinton was stout in the pass protecting game, and he was a little bit shaky in the running game. This game, both didn't look good.
Yeah,
he gave up the second sack of the season, right? We only had 2. He gave up 1. And then there was a couple of times where I'm watching him just kind of get bullied out there, like not able to set a proficient edge. Like he's losing ground constantly. And when you're on the left side, man, you are the main protector. You're the blind spot of the quarterback. You gotta be more stout than that at something. If it was just a running game thing, I'd say maybe we could supplement that, the bonus packages with I actually agree with that, Marion, because he has a red shirt available. He's the only one of the tackles who still has a red shirt available. He should take it. But in any case, if they can supplement the running games with the bonus packages and Trente Jones and stuff like that, that's one thing. You can't supplement a passing deficiency from your offensive lineman, because now you start talking about having to go max protect, and that takes receivers out of formations. That takes tight ends out of formations. That takes the running backs out of formations. It's less guys to throw the ball to, so that's a disadvantage. That's a deficiency. I just feel like we could do better. I feel like we've seen Ladarius Henderson play better. Seems like we've seen Trente Jones even play better at times than Carson Barnhart at times this season. So not sure why they're so hesitant to change the starters, which is what they kept telling us that they were going to do all off season. We're going to try both tackles to start. And you've never done it, even though both tackles have looked a bit so to start.
For some reason, they're so tied to this dude. And to me, it's only it's he looks the part.
He does.
For me, and this is just for me, like my semi-pro days and stuff like that. Because my coaches, when I played semi-pro, my coaches, he went to the NFL. He was an NFL receiver for borderline, And then my other coach, he was he played for the Dolphins. So when they see these players, when coaches see these players that look the part, they salivate over them. They just salivate over them.
And they want to get them on the field. and they want to get him on the field.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They want as bad as possible to get him because they see the potential. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a quarterback, whatever position, you get a linebacker that shows up and he's 6'2", 240, chiseled.
Yeah, you got to
They're
get him
like,
out
oh,
there. Yep.
he's gonna start for me. They don't even know how good this dude plays. He trash, but they're gonna give him as many options. We had a quarterback showed up. He was trash, but he looked the part. 6'5" or something, and he was athletic. Looked it. He was boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? It's just they want to give these types of dudes the chance. And I think that's what's going on with Henderson. I mean, Hinton.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be a dominant player, an NFL veteran. It ain't there. Sit him down. Like, 'cause they're wasting a lot of time getting him. Those are all reps for his replacement could have had by now. And
it's not even necessarily that big of a problem because, again, Miles Hinton has an opportunity to redshirt and be a better player for us next year when we lose 3-4 guys off the offensive line. But see, they keep playing around with it. He's going to play too much time and they won't be able to redshirt him. And then, it's just like we weren't able to do what we wanted to do with him in the short amount of time he was here. So I'm hoping they'll make a decision on that this week, headed into week 5, because it's just not I don't think it's come all together for Miles Hinton yet, obviously.
Yeah, and with the O-line, and I was saying this yesterday, I think they need a fullback. I think they need a lead blocker more than, like, last year you really didn't need one unless it was maybe goal line. This year I think they need a lead blocker more often than not. And just by that, what was that? The end of the game with Mullins. They had him in the I formation. They're getting 5, 6, 7 a pop every time. And I know it's the end of the game, but it's still, I mean, it looked good with that blocker. You got an extra blocker running through the hole, cleaning it up. Yeah, I mean, that is hardball ball, really.
They kind of use Bredesen in that role a little bit. He kind of comes in as an H-back or a fullback every now and again. I like that. He's actually put some good stuff on film. But my only problem with going with a fullback full time is not like that's an extra personnel person. And so it also becomes a bit of a tail. So now every time if we start using Bredesen as a traditional fullback, now we giving the defense a tail to what we're doing. Now, obviously, you can work play action off of that, and we're very successful at play action. Bredesen's a good catcher, good pass catcher. So it does make the play action in that much even that much explosive.
But Roman and Cornelius, whoever those two receivers,
the other two outside receivers are still explosive too, and you still got Colston at tight end too. So you got guys options in that set, even if you don't use the fullback. But I think when they get the offensive line figured out, it won't matter. It won't matter. When they get the offensive line set, they'll be able to run everything they want to. They'll be able to do counter. They'll be able to do pin and pull. They'll be able to do duo more efficiently, right? Right now, when they are getting to some of that stuff, it's not being ran to the level that we're accustomed to seeing it being ran because we got a hole. We have a hole, right? And it maybe we wasn't going to say that after the first couple of weeks. Week 4, I think it's safe enough to say we have a hole there. We fixed that. I don't even think that's going to be an issue because now you're not getting so much of the early leakage. You're not getting guys looking, oblivious to where they're supposed to be, double team in air instead of going to grab a linebacker. It's not, I don't think we'd have to worry about that as much.
I don't see how he has a problem doing that. Like, I don't see, like,
he'll just be linked up, right? He'll be linked up with Keegan and then just doesn't turn his head to see anybody. It was a duo where there was a duo going left. So he flows left with the rest of the offensive line. Keegan picks up a guy, starts pushing the 3-tech that way. He just goes along with Keegan on his back, just kind of ushering him along. I'm like, man, if you turn around, you'll see that there's an edge coming and the edge makes the play.
I just don't.
The edge makes the play.
He has to be thinking at this point, and this is a problem anyway. If he's thinking that much to where he doesn't know to go and go get that linebacker that's coming or that DN. Like, you're thinking that much, you don't need to be on the field.
I think that's what's happening, man. He's performing in practice, but then he gets out there on the field and it's not translating. And that's just that happens to players, man. We've seen that happen to players over the last several years. Andrell Anthony, RJ Moulton, right? We've had players like that where it's seeming like it's coming together. It should have come together by now, and it just doesn't click. Okay, well, we're trying to win a national championship this year. So we just can't have as long of a leash, in my opinion, with that. I think we need to try out Ladarius next game and let him go ahead and start.
So what did you think about the play calling? I thought the play calling was pretty good for the most part because JJ was hesitant at first. Mm-hmm. He was a little, I don't want to throw a pick against Rutgers. They're gonna talk about me again.
Yeah, I mentioned that he looked a little errant on the first drive, and then Sharon gave him some stuff to kind of settle him in.
Mm-hmm. And I think everybody that knows football,
easy. Yeah,
everybody that knows football after that first drive was like, throw some screens or something to settle this dude down.
Easy throws because he's missing 5-yard outs. That's not a throw that JJ is typically going to miss. So, a little amped up, probably eager to get back out there and perform after last week's performance. And he did. Once he got it ratcheted down, I thought he played a really good game. The play calling was better for me than it was last game, especially in the running game. I liked a lot of what we were calling here, a lot less outside zone than we had seen in the first couple of weeks. I really need the guys up front, the starting five, to kind of get a rhythm, because they're going to be the most important part of our offense going forward. If we can protect JJ and we can open up holes for Blake, I just don't see anybody being able to stop us. And I mean, anyone across the country, that combination, right? Being able to, with new clock rules, if JJ is able to be as proficient through play action as he has been, and Blake Corum continues to ascend back to that top tier level that he was at before, I don't see anybody on the landscape right now. Yeah, no, definitely not you, Bilal. Okay, we're gonna get to y'all in a minute. I see a bunch of food in the top 10, Johnny. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see a bunch of food. I seen Georgia go out there, have a tough game with South Carolina. Next week, they in a dogfight with University of Alabama, Birmingham. I see Texas go out there and beat Alabama. Next week, they struggling with Wyoming. Right? There isn't a truly dominant team right now. And
just imagine if we had our team from last year, our exact team from last year this year. Just imagine.
And honestly, the only thing that makes that team better is the offensive line. I think everything else is an upgrade, if I'm being honest. I think defensive line is an upgrade. I think JJ's better than he was last year. I think the receivers are playing better early on in the season than they were at this time last year. Linebacker is deeper. Defensive back, as much as we've been talking about, defensive back play and it being such a worry, man, the defensive backs have looked pretty damn good. They've looked pretty outside of a few gaffes, which it happens. They've looked pretty damn good, and we've been playing mostly with backups. So, man, as I'm looking at it, we're taking these next several games before we get to Maryland. To kind of fine tune all of the stuff that we need to be elite. Run blocking, or just offensive line play in general. I would say finding ways to get Donovan to be productive. There's really not that much on defense, man. Get everybody healthy. Like, I think this was the first time we've seen
problem right now.
We've seen Makari, Rod, and Will Johnson all on the field at the same time. Now, they didn't all finish the game together, but they all played this Saturday. So continue to get those guys healthy too.
Yeah, once the defense is actually a unit, and I was glad Rod Moore came back in the game because he, He went out in the first half, then he came back second half.
Yep.
He was running with Sainer still on that pick six.
Yep.
So that was good to see. Will Johnson getting back to the groove because they both had rust on them yesterday. I saw some passes that Will Johnson, a healthy and in rhythm Will Johnson, I believe would have picked at least one of those passes that went his way. Not many did go his way, but the one that did, I think he would have picked that. So it's good to see them getting back in that rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And so we can start getting a collective unit with guys that know their jobs, and that higher caliber of player is actually there now. Because both of those dudes could possibly be All-Americans if they can stay on the field.
Yeah.
Especially Will Johnson. I mean,
for real.
Let's see. Y'all got to get on Indeed. All right. Let's go. What do you? I'll give you my thoughts on Notre Dame, and then I'll let you go. So I'm watching that game, and when I watch games, I try to see the flow of the game. So after a certain point, I'm like, after the first quarter of that game, when they've both went for it on fourth and they're kind of struggling, Notre Dame looks like they could have something, but mistakes. So after that first quarter, I already knew this is a low scoring game. If you get in field goal range, it's best to probably take your points. So that's the first caveat for both teams. Then second half comes, and Notre Dame is looking like a Michigan in the second half, hardball ball. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is going to be a good night for me, man. Hey, this going, hey, man, it's my birthday, I'm feeling good, bro.
See, I didn't feel no way either way, bro. I looked at that game and I said, whoever loses tonight, I'm going to make fun of you ruthlessly. And it just ended up being the Irish's night because they did what the Irish do.
Bro, that and Marcus Freeman, he ain't gonna have much more time in Notre Dame because
choke artist, man. You can't count to 11,
bro. He started choking before that. The choke job started when they stopped Ohio State on fourth. They
got the ball back, right? One more first down, the game would have been over.
One more first down. So he comes out and tries was that RPO?
It was like a split zone read, and he hadn't run it all night.
There was no need to do that. They hadn't run that play
all night, and all of a sudden, Sam Hartman decides to pull. Fam, that hasn't been. They ain't been running you all night. You tried to run on a 4th and 1 and got stopped. Why? Why even put that in his position, especially when the running backs had been so successful? Jeremiah Love was like 7 yards a carry. Ford was getting his. Estime was starting to get a rhythm. Why don't we just keep this ball on the ground and gain positive yardage on first down? So they get that negative play. Ohio State stops the clock. They end up having to punt the ball to him with a minute 30 and a timeout. That's an eternity, man. That's an eternity.
That's what. And if people try to we're talking about Harbaugh or some Harbaugh would have killed that clock.
He'd have kicked that ball back to them with 20 seconds on the clock.
They would have had like 20 or 30 seconds left.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to blame the players a little bit too, but I keep coming back to the coaching. Like, they had 2 opportunities on that final drive where Ohio State was going down to end it. Had 2 opportunities to catch a pick. One of them when they had 10 men on the field. Even when you had 10 men, you had a chance to get a pick and close the game out, and you didn't do it. But the thing I keep going back to is that they're not being led by competent individuals. They can't be, because they don't know enough to get enough players on the field. They don't know enough to know, even if they had a player in that spot, they're still misaligned. They can't get the call out to Hartman on time. Hartman, it keeps looking back at the sideline like, man, get me the fucking call. I saw him mouth that during the game. I saw him say it. Get me the fucking call. get me the fucking call, because he's walking up to the line with 5 seconds to get everybody set and snap the ball consistently. That's a coaching failure. That is a coaching failure. You're not even communicating the calls on time for your quarterback to snap the ball on time, let alone making sure if there's enough men on the field on defense. I feel bad for Hartman, man. I feel like last night was his moment, and Marcus Freeman handed it away to Kyle McCord and OSU. Literally, he handed it to him.
Let me read this super chat. Ora 82, appreciate the $2. He said, NDU Sam like he was Cade, Dink and Duncan.
Well, also, I don't think much about the Notre Dame receivers. I don't think that they were able to get much separation on the outside. When they did, Iggy was holding, but most of their production was coming from the running backs. Mitchell Evans had a huge game. They were getting a lot of yardage in the middle. So it was a combination of they're not very fast, and that's just kind of what Ohio State was giving them.
Yeah, and he just got out.
My God,
it was like it was like he just wasn't. He wanted to go so much into this. Oh, we're not going to play to lose, that he made coaching one-on-one mistakes. Things
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. Remember the double safety blitz last year
when Ohio State couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he just made so many mistakes in the game, and it was just ridiculous. And it seemed like his team, because it was like, bro, and this is my problem, and this is why I would hate to be him right now. And because you ran that rock down their throat that second half, you established dominance in that second half. On that same drive, you're running it down their throat, and you end up taking the ball out of the guy's hands that got you there. That offensive line. I
would have rather them threw the ball. I know that they were under 2 minutes, and an incompletion is terrible in that moment. But I'd rather you let Sam Hartman throw the ball than let him try to run it and make a bad decision with it, which is what he did. And it honestly cost him the game.
Bro, all he
dropped interceptions aside, that would have ended it.
I don't think Ohio State was going to stop them. I really don't. The way they were running it. If they just run the same type of plays they've been calling, like, bro.
I also don't think that they used the timeout in that moment either.
No.
They probably wait until you gain the next first down before they start spinning timeouts. Let them save one and use it early by taking a negative play.
That offensive line was in that when we've seen our offensive line get clicking, and it's like,
oh, they were in mode. They were
just
good.
Run that rock, and this is ball game. And that offensive line was in that same mode. And then he, for whatever reason, Marcus Freeman said, no, I got to get cute. Get cute, and you will get beat.
That's really literally what happened. Literally.
He just had to out cute. He wasn't happy beating Ryan Day like that. He wanted to get cute and seem like the smarter coach while doing it.
Yeah. I that's his fatal flaw, man, is end of game decisions. That is his fatal flaw right now, and it has not gone well for him. I agree with Antoine Johnson, who was talking about Ryan Day boo-hooing about Lou Holtz. Man, I've never in my life
like that.
Fam, first of all, let's talk about it. So Ryan Day is obviously listening to everything that anyone says about him, for sure. Did you actually hear what Lou Holtz said on the show?
I didn't hear it.
Man, it was like standard commentator stuff. It was like, I think Notre Dame's a better team. The last 5 games Ohio State has lost. Georgia, Alabama, Michigan twice. Clemson, Georgia. They lost because of physicality, and I don't think that they're a more physical team than Notre Dame.
He's a Notre Dame legend. Like, what do you expect him to say? It's just like
he's a Notre Dame legend, and he's like 80 years old. What is his opinion On your football, he's not even actively coaching. What does it matter, bro?
Why did he did go at him like he was on top, like Lou Holtz from 12, 15 years ago.
Man, you would have thought Nick Saban called out Ryan Day the way that he was talking to that lady, screaming and shit. Oh, we're tough. We're tough. Everybody thinks we're not tough. We're tough. Like, bro, first of all, you screaming at the top of your lungs when you finally get a dub does not constitute toughness. And then on top of that, you mentioned it yourself. 4 separate times you either failed to get a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. This one you got by inches, and they had one less man on the field. And you sitting up here screaming, "We're tough! We're tough!" It was just a narrative. It was only one bad half in 2 years. We're tough. Like, buddy, relax, man. It's not a game. Why are you subtweeting Michigan in week 4 when you just won this epic game versus Notre Dame?
Oh my God.
I was just so confused by that, bro. Like, can you ease up a bit? He listened to everything. He listened to the soft talk. He listened to the can't beat Michigan talk. He listened to the he dyes his beard. He listened to it all. He got to, because he keeping receipts on people. And he's going to bring it up in a post-game interview.
Because honestly, the last 2 years he hasn't won really any big games.
Ryan, it's not a lie that Michigan ran for 300 yards on you a couple of times.
Penn State, they're not up. They can be a top 10 team, but they're not really upper echelon consistently. You know what I'm saying? They're not winning. They haven't won the Big Ten since who knows when, and they haven't went to the playoff or anything. So that's who you get your win off of. But you lost to Oregon, then you lose to Michigan. You lose to Michigan again.
I forgot about the Oregon game. Another game where they got out physical.
Exactly. You lose to Michigan again. You scrape into the playoff in Georgia. You have them up 14, 2-3 times, and you still choke the game away.
Hell, there were games that they didn't lose that they looked like they got out physical. What about last year against Northwestern?
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to forget that all that stuff happened because you got in by inches against Notre Dame because they didn't have 11 players on the field? Like, am I really supposed to take this to heart and say, you know what? That's a different Ohio State team. It's a different Ohio State team.
Hold on, let me read this real quick.
Yeah.
And appreciate the $5 super chat. 23 Tails. He says, your thoughts on Josh Wallace? My opinion, something with his speed. D-line is covering up for now with pressure. The thing about Josh Wallace, I think, is, and this is part of our scheme. Jesse Minter plays off coverage a lot of the times just to see what you want to do. He does that bend but don't break. He does a soft coverage. You would see it even with DJ Turner, who ran a 4.2 at the combine. Mm-hmm. So that's just part of his scheme. He'll let you get that. He'll give you that stuff knowing, okay, I give up a 7-yard gain. We make the tackle. You get 7 yards. Now you have to get it. You're in 3rd and 3. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get it. You might get it. It's just not likely you will consistently. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what he chooses to give the defense. So it's hard to judge exactly what's going on with Josh Wallace, right? You know what I'm saying? Right now, at least.
I mean, for the most part, if we look at his performance as a whole through the first 4 games, I think it's been a satisfactory mark. When he's gotten beaten, though, it's on double moves.
Yeah, he's
very susceptible. He loves the jump stuff. So, I mean, that could be a blessing and a curse. Maybe we get a few more picks than we got out of G-Mon Green. But then if he's all constantly jumping routes, that's going to lead to giving up some big plays every now and again. So at a certain point, if it becomes a bigger issue than what it is now, then yeah, they'll have to fix something or choose. Like you're either going to play up and try to play these routes a little bit quicker, or you're going to stop jumping them and stop giving up the big plays. I don't think Jesse will let that persist. But right now, right, the long touchdown this week wasn't on him. That was on Mikey. He fell down. And then I think it was last week that he got hit with a move and the guy dropped the ball.
Yeah,
I'm not
he tried to
going.
jump us. The dude ran a sluggo on him, I
Yeah, he
believe.
ran a sluggo and he got hit. Right. First of all, I'm never going to hold someone accountable for something that didn't happen. Right. Like, yeah, we can go back and we can coach to have better fundamentals and to not get beat. But we ain't gonna hold something against them that didn't happen. He ain't score. Almost only counting hand grenades to me.
It's really a learning lesson for him.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
bro, you can't be out here trying to jump everything just
Yeah.
because it's a
This time
lower
you
level
didn't get
team.
beat. Next time you will, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just, just like JJ's interceptions. Didn't beat you this week, but it will down the road. Keep that on your mind. Let's move forward.
Yes, sir. Let me cook this dude real quick.
All right.
Michigan fans are hilarious to me. You guys haven't won anything since the 90s.
Oh.
You lost to TCU last year.
Mhm.
Michigan is pathetic. You've played garbage this year, yet you want to act like you run shit. Guess what? We do run it.
I don't know what got you so
Back-to-back
confused, Justin.
Big Ten champs.
What is so confusing about losing? Because I know you're an Ohio State fan. You got to be. You're the only one that would be talking like this. What is so confusing about losing to Michigan 2 years in a row? What's so confusing about watching us hoist the Big Ten championship trophy? What's confusing about the fact that you all haven't been to Indianapolis since 2020? That's why we talking like this. Like, I love that when we talk about who runs this conference, not runs college football, not anything else, just who runs the Big Ten conference. It always ends up turning to a championship conversation, right? We talk about who runs the Big Ten, and it goes to, oh, y'all can't win no natty. Y'all ain't won no natty since the 90s. Y'all ain't won no natty. I'm sorry, sir. You right. Cool. We ain't won no natty. Can we talk about who's running the Big Ten again?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Big Ten is not a national. It's a conference. It's regional. We talking about regionally here with these teams. We run this. The same way Georgia's saying they run the SEC, same way Florida State probably talking about they run the ACC now, right? We run our area. Now, we have aspirations of being national champs, but that ain't got nothing to do with you. We're going to continue to step all over you on our way to doing what we want to do postseason-wise.
Exactly. TC, and then they bring this TCU game up like this is the saddest. Y'all become sad. You know that y'all sad now. You bringing up you lost to TCU last year. Who cares? We beat you.
I heard Ray smacked you last week and you ain't do nothing. Did you smack me?
You lost to TCU. Who cares? We beat you 45-23.
I couldn't imagine talking stuff like that to a team that I had recently gotten blown out against. Like, it's one thing y'all beating us, y'all done won 8 in a row, and then we lose to TCU. Yes, it's just like any other loss. They get to talk down on you because not only did you not beat them, but then you went in the postseason and lost too. I do not get this brain melt that makes it somehow it's a win for you when Michigan loses. I don't get that. The only time it's a win for you is when you beat Michigan. Like, I wouldn't have claimed no victory for Notre Dame beating Ohio State last night. I don't root for Notre Dame.
Man, I just would have been laughing at y'all.
It'd have been funny, but I wouldn't have took no victory. You don't put a notch in my W column.
Exactly.
Ohio State lost
because we're gonna handle you anyway.
Win when we lose. We live rent free in your coach's mind. We live rent free in y'all's mind. Y'all watch us even after we done playing y'all.
Yeah.
They watch.
I mean, it is what it is.
Instead of focusing on their team, they love so much. Maybe they don't love it so much, Daniel. Maybe there ain't so much to love over there, contrary to popular belief.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I chopped up the video of us last week, and it was the Deion segment. Bro, it was going crazy.
Oh, man. I meant to go back and look for that dude's name that we was arguing with last week, and I forgot. It's cool. I won't make him famous on this live. But are you in the chat now, sir? You in the chat now?
a lot of them aren't real college football fans. They just came out of nowhere, and they're probably surprised what happened. Even though we sat up here and told them like it's the reasons why Colorado is light in the trenches. You're playing big boy teams that are established. They're going to probably destroy you. You're gonna get your doors blown off.
They hit him a bunch of times, sacked him 7. He never stood a chance. He never stood a chance. And they had DBs that could stick to those wide receivers. I think that's something that was surprising to me. I think we were under the impression that the wide receiving core, even outside of Travis Hunter, was a little bit better than maybe what we thought it was. And I think Oregon kind of set that. Or maybe Oregon just has an elite secondary. Maybe.
I'm not gonna lie. Oregon looked fast. They were flying around.
Yeah. But
offense and defense.
Jimmy Horn didn't really explode. Weaver didn't really explode. Dawson didn't really explode. They just didn't get much out of their wide receiving core. I don't think he threw for 200 yards.
I mean, it's going to be tough for him when he plays. Now that they're getting to real Pac-12 competition, it's going to be tough for him. With that offensive line, at least. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to have to. Well, I would say max protect, but they don't really have a back that's good in pass pro.
Yeah, that little back.
Edwards is not really it in pass pro. So, and they don't have true traditional tight ends. So even your max protect ain't all that healthy because you don't have natural blockers in those positions.
Yeah, and honestly, the way Oregon was doing them. Like I knew they were gonna lose, but they were doing them bad. I was like, come on, man.
Because Lanning, I think he realized what Deion was good for in terms of taking the energy of all the people, of all the eyeballs that are on Colorado right now, and kind of using it as fuel for his team.
Which is smart because that's
Dan
what Deion
Lanning
does.
took that shit and he completely flipped it. He said, look at them. They over there celebrating. They Hollywood. They doing it for clicks. We going to earn it on the field. And then they went out there and played like it. They acted like Deion Sanders said something about them.
Yeah. He used it as motivation. Like we're what is Oregon? Are they top 10?
They are. Yeah, it was they're 9. They were 9.
Yeah, so they're talking about them like they're the top 10 ranked team. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about them like they're.
That's an old Kirby Smart trick. Kirby Smart to go in there and just straight up lie to the players. Yeah, the reporter said that you should be ranked 16th. Like, yeah, what? What you come from? Where you come from with that? But it works. But it works.
That's how I get down too. I find anything to get money. I make up something. I don't care. So yeah, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And a lot of these casual, I don't know where these dudes came from. And let me rant on this one real quick.
Sure.
Because people are, if you're a black dude or if you're black and you don't just go gung ho for Colorado, you're a hater. You're a hater. Like they were calling us haters on that last video.
Yeah.
So this is my problem, and I'm a Michigan fan, so that's who I'm rooting for. I want Deion to win, but boy, you come up against us, so we finna do y'all like Oregon did. But this is my thing. Why is it like he's the first black coach ever? Where's Mike Loxley's?
Yeah.
Hype train?
Exactly. I don't see nobody running for his defense. I sure don't.
Exactly. Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong when he was at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the love for the other brothers? You should, if we doing that, support them all. Support all the head coaches. Like come on.
It's very interesting what's going on with Deion right now, right? Like, there's people who, when Colorado won them first 3 games, was riding the Deion Sanders hype train, and then the minute he lost, now it's time to flip the narrative to, but they're a little too boisterous for me. They're a little too loud for me. They don't do things the way that college football players are supposed to doing them. And I recognize that, right? Because it's blatantly obvious for those who have taken a part in that. Then there's the crowd that never liked Deion being around that, or being around college sports, or being in the Power Five at all, and just want to see him fail. I get that. But never forget, let us not forget the bill of goods that Deion Sanders sold us about what he was doing at Jackson State. Right? Like, before you fall head over heels for this man and give him your unconditional grassroots support, remember the bill of goods that he sold us at Jackson State. Right? It's all about the community. I got the number one player to come in here and not go to all of those stadiums where he could play in front of 100,000 people every weekend, so he could play in front of 40,000 of his people. Right? That was Deion's edict. I'm gonna have a player go in the first round from Jackson State. I'm gonna make sure you get drafted from Jackson State. All of that stuff, right? So now, if we transfer that over to really after he left Jackson State and went to Boulder, we hated him because of it. Now it's completely back on his head, and it's like, oh, we got to protect the black coach again. It's like, I would like to just view Deion Sanders as a football coach. So if a football coach came in and did away with 80% of his roster within the first couple of weeks of him being there, I think I would criticize that regardless. And then if he went out there and won 3 games with a team that only won 1 before, I'm going to give him praise just because of the strength of the success that you had. Not because you're a black coach, not because we somehow judge you differently because you're a black coach. No, man, if you give a damn about Deion and his career, you should want him to be judged by the same standard that Saban, Kirby, Harbaugh, Day, all of those guys are. You want him judged on the same curve. You don't want him to get any soft praise or preemptive praise for things that he hasn't earned. Because first of all, he doesn't need it. Doesn't need the handout.
Man.
And then second of all, you're not doing him any good. The only thing you doing is doing exactly what y'all did, was falsely inflate Deion in Colorado. So it made for a very hard fall. And now people are taking advantage of that. They are.
Exactly. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to just whatever with it. What's funny to me is, like you said with Jackson State, everybody, remember when he said he was leaving Colorado? The culture, right?
Oh, the culture coming with me. Yeah, the culture coming with me.
Everybody was mad.
Yeah.
They were mad at him. Oh, you leaving HBCU? You mad? Oh man, Deion.
And all he had to do was win a game in Boulder to change all of that.
He wins a couple games. They came back.
Ain't nobody mad no more. Ain't no more Deion Sanders think pieces, right? Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm just sitting back and I'm just like, bro, what is going on? Like, what really is going on, bro? Y'all just crucified him when he left Jackson State. Now he done won 1 of 2, 3 games in a row. Now it's now everybody back.
Just wait on it. Wait until he leaves Colorado and causes a mass exodus from that program, and they're no better off than what they were before he got there. Wait till that happens. If you think he's staying in Boulder more than 5 years, you a fool.
Yeah, he's gonna be somewhere else, probably Florida State or something. Who knows? Somewhere bigger than Colorado. His light shines so bright. He got to be somewhere else, and that's no knock. It's just biggest personality.
Yeah, Boulder was not the long term. First of all, any college that say, "Hey, we're gonna offer you this contract, but we ain't got it right now," that's probably not the place you're gonna be with long term.
Mm-hmm. What else? Florida State, Clemson. What do you think about Florida State? Do you think that they're legit? I mean, their roster
they're a very dangerous team. I have questions about Jordan Travis, man. I have questions about Jordan Travis. I am not completely convinced. I have him about the same place. That's why this game this weekend was so interesting, and I think that's why they played so evenly. Is because I have him right about the same spot as I have Tate Klubnik. I
Mhm.
watched Jordan Travis play in a couple of games last year. I watched them play NC State, and I watched them play. Was it Clemson? I think it might have been Clemson. And I'm watching him. He's a very escapable quarterback. Great in the pocket, hard to tackle, hard to sack. But he will throw you some head scratcher balls. He will throw you some of them that's like, huh? Like, where was you even trying to do on that? Week 1, who were they playing week 1? Was that against LSU?
Yeah.
Okay, week 1, guys pressed man up against his receiver. I guess they have a now route, a screen call. He throws it anyways. Throw it right to the guy. Hit the dude right in his palms. Now he dropped it, and it's probably not one of them throws that a lot of people remember, but it was just like one of them, yo, what are you even looking at type of throws? You know what I'm saying? Check into something else, throw it away, run it, do anything but then to throw it to this man's numbers. Like, he's just shown a little bit of that. And I feel like, and then that's not the only problem on offense either. They got a case of the dropsies.
Mm-hmm.
Keon Coleman, all them big old wide receivers they got over there, they got a case of the dropsies. So I think they're a good team. Beating Clemson went a long way to proving that they could be a great team. I think they still got a ways to go, though.
Yeah, because now the expectations are there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think everybody's kind of dealing with expectations. These newer whatever. Michigan's dealing with them coming out being the number 2 team. We're dealing with expectations. Florida State, they dealing with them too. You know, they've actually had to back it up a little earlier than we will have to back it up. You know what I'm saying? Sure. First, through you got LSU. Now you had to play Clemson, who isn't exactly Clemson of old, but they still, that roster ain't just trash.
The wins are impressive. The wins are very impressive. The roster is impressive. They won't make it out of the season without being at least a top 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about Final Four, who can win the national championship, maybe they're just outside of that conversation for me personally.
Got you. Who else? USC struggled. That defense.
Hey, man. I don't know how many times we got to say it, but Alex Grinch is going to be the ruining of Lincoln Riley. If he don't make a change this offseason, I don't know how long Lincoln Riley is going to survive at USC, which is crazy to say because he already has a Heisman winner. But how many times do you think people are going to let them get into big games and get beat because they can't stop a soul? How long do you think that's going to ride? If that was the case, they could have kept Lane Kiffin. Hell, they could have kept Sark.
Sark they just dropped in the polls too.
Sark is the only, which as they should. I think Ohio State deserved to jump them, and they did. But Sark is the only coach at USC that's won over 10 games since Pete Carroll. Well, obviously Lincoln Riley now, but he's the only coach that was out there that could win more than 10 games. He only did it one time, but he did it. Okay, so if 11-win seasons and nice bowl games is all we can come to expect from Lincoln Riley, I don't expect it to be a very long time in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he's got to do something about that defense. How long has he been with that defensive coordinator? How long has
Oklahoma, he been? Since he was the head coach at Oklahoma.
Is he slow? Why is he bringing him along with this?
How do you bring him over from Oklahoma to USC in the first place?
That's what I'm saying.
You had 2 of the most high-profile losses in all of college football playoff history. You can't say nothing to Michigan because we ain't let Georgia put up 40 points in the first half. Okay, yeah. We got shellacked, but they didn't just go back there and play 7-on-7 versus now.
Mm-hmm. It don't make no sense for him. Some of these dudes are just too loyal to they friends. They're these coaching hires. Like, bro, this isn't about your friends. This is about these kids.
And Alex Grinch is going to find another job. He's established enough. He's a white guy in America. He'll find another job. Like, don't be too worried about it.
That's my problem with these coaches and their loyalty to these other coaches. Like, bro, these kids, these parents are trusting you to teach their kids how to play football well.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing them a disservice.
Yeah,
Get rid of him.
that's a fact. And I don't think that's ever not been Alex Grinch's MO, is to give up big plays. Right. And it's always the argument. Well, the way we structure the defense, we know we're going to give up big plays. I hate defensive coordinators like that. I'm not a Manny Diaz fan. I'm not an Alex Grinch fan. Obviously, I'm happy that Don Brown is the head coach at UMass because he's no longer the defensive coordinator here. And the idea that you're going to go into a game expecting to give up explosive plays is maddening to me as a defensive guy. It just doesn't make sense. You're accepting the fact what it is it's a little bit of hubris. You think you're going to get more negative plays than you're going to give up, which is silly because that situation is slanted towards the offense, not you.
Exactly.
It's always going to be easier to score a touchdown than it is to get a sack or an interception.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even. You can't look at it that way. Oh, we'll give up a few big plays, but we'll make enough negative plays to even it out. You got to make up a bunch of negative plays to negate a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what Jim Knowles had to find out last year.
He's going to find out the hard way. He's going to keep finding out because when you play elite teams, if you give up explosive plays, you're giving up touchdowns.
Exactly. Well, Ole Miss blew another opportunity. Ain't much to really say about that. Lane Kiffin.
So, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, let me ask a question. Is Alabama not as bad as we thought they were, or is Lane Kiffin another kind of choky artist?
He's choky. He over there third quarter when they got down 14, he was looking like, man, I can't beat this guy.
Like everything stacked up in Ole Miss's stacked up in Ole Miss's favor. They had the better running game. They had the better quarterback this go round, right? Defense was playing good. It's another one of them head scratchers. How the hell do you lose this game?
Yeah. I mean, that's just what it was. He's just one. He shouldn't have ran his mouth before the game. So that was the dumbest thing you could have did was get Nick Saban focused. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just not smart.
Get him focused and give Jalen Milroe some sort of confidence. That was probably the worst move. Well, not necessarily with him talking, but what they ended up doing is probably the worst thing for the entire SEC. You want Bama to be down. You want this to be a down year for Bama. You don't want them to figure it out at quarterback because then they'll be so much more competitive than what they've been if they just have some competency at quarterback. See, they haven't even had a guy who can move the team downfield so far. Jalen Milroe was able to do that against Ole Miss, and they took a really good Ole Miss team, good run defense, good running, good quarterback, and they put him in a stranglehold in the second half.
Yep.
You don't want them to get that quarterback position going because then they'll be Bama of old again.
Exactly. Yeah. He should have just shut up. He should have just shut up and praised Alabama and then went in there and beat them.
Like all the other assistants do, like Kirby do, like Sark does. They don't go in there talking nothing about Nick. But, Lane is a different breed.
Yeah, he's an idiot. So let's see. Penn State, Cade throws for what? 50 yards. Oh, Cade.
And Eric all fumbled, man.
Without taking. So we sent you away, okay.
Hey man, I was really hoping, and it's still a possibility. They're only 3-1. I was really hoping to see Cade in Iowa in the championship game this year. I'm hoping that we do, so we can pay him back for some of these comments that he's been given in the offseason. But as far as last night's game, if I were if I was Kurt Ferentz, I probably would just get this done now. Save your son the embarrassment of making it all the way to the end of the season and not even averaging 25 points a game. Because they're not averaging 25 points a game right now.
No, they won't.
They're not averaging 25 points a game right now. And it doesn't look like they're going to.
No, they're not going to.
The offensive line looks terrible. I mean, they were getting bullied. Like I would like to put a lot of it on Cade since he's been running his mouth, but he didn't really have an opportunity to do much of anything in that game last night. Eric all fumbled when they had an opportunity to score early in the game, and that really kind of changed the tide. I just think offensively, man, you are never going to get better with Brian Ferentz as the offensive coordinator. I just don't see it. He doesn't have the feel for the game. He just doesn't do what the guys he has do well. So with Cade, you gotta get him going in the intermediate, man. It's so often I click on the Iowa and I'm just trying to watch the plays of Cade, and they're just trying to get him to do some stuff that like he doesn't do. Like, I don't know if you brought him to be here to be a drop back, throw down field type quarterback, but that's just not what Cade McNamara was, even when he was at Michigan.
No, he's a dink and dunker.
So, like, you got to get out, play action more. You got to start cutting off half the field and running like flood plays and stuff like that for him.
I hate those.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah, that is what he's good at. I hate those plays, but
that's what a good offensive coordinator would do. If you know that your quarterback is deficient and you know you're deficient of athletes, you cut that field in half and make them play half of it.
That's facts.
He's not putting them in position to be successful. They can't do the things you want them to do. They're not running the ball well. It's just,
yeah, I don't. It ain't gonna end that pretty for them out over there. I hate it for Cade and Eric all, but I mean
that's where they wanted to go.
That's what I'm saying. That's where they go. They was cocky about it, like they were going to Ohio State or something. Then I said, okay,
all kind of crazy.
See you in November, you know.
On there talking about, I never had a defense that scored for me. Okay, all right, bro. Well, I'm so glad that you happy where you at now. I'm so glad you are satisfied with your position. Stay there.
Yeah,
stay there.
It was quite ridiculous. Let me see. What do you think about Penn State? Since we talking them, forget Iowa. Let's talk about somebody that's actually relevant to us.
Good. I've seen a couple in back-to-back weeks now. Once against Iowa, once against Illinois, where that dominant running game. Maybe Nick Singleton and Katron Allen are the best running back duo in the country. They're very containable. They're very containable. Steady guys. And when they get decent blocking, they can hurt you. But I haven't really seen Katron or Nick Singleton take over a game yet.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched them start to finish, so maybe I'm missing some things. But
they don't do it much.
From what I'm seeing over the last 2 weeks, them guys has been pretty well bottled up. And so if that's going to be the case, what we seen from the first 3 weeks of Drew Aller are not going to be what we see going forward. If they stop the run and you get pressure on Drew Aller, he's a different guy. He's basically Clifford. He's basically Clifford again, a less athletic, taller Clifford. If you get pressure on him and you can take away the run. Now, when he has the benefit of being able to put the ball in Allen or Singleton's belly and count on 5, he's deadly. He's deadly now because now the defense has to come up and now Kim and KJ Hamler are going to get busy on the outside. If he doesn't have that benefit, we can drop guys in the coverage and just depend on our base defense to stop the run and play like that, man, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. I've seen him skip several passes off the ground.
Yeah,
several. And it's like a thing with him. He feels like he's in motion and it feels like he's in rhythm. He throw one of them off his back foots and them joints one hopping off the ground. I'm like, hey, yo, brother, you better have that cleaned up by November when we get in there.
Yeah, because Mentor's gonna bring, because you're not seeing the full Mentor package right now. You're not. All those different NFL type blitzes he'll start throwing at you, like he did Clifford last year. Once he said, all right, you get nothing now.
Yeah.
It was a wrap, and he was seeing ghosts, and it was just like, all right, this one's over. Let's sip our tea. It's over, guys. So we haven't really seen that yet. All those exotic blitzes he likes to do and things.
And Penn State's another one of those teams that I feel like they're still Because like, who outside of KJ Hamler worries you at receiver for Penn State? I don't see nobody. I don't see guys that like strike fear in the hearts of opposing secondaries. I don't know, man. I think they're a good team, but again, like a lot of teams we've seen in the Big Ten this weekend, nobody truly dominant. Nobody who's really a step above everybody else. I would like to say, and it's probably a little bit of bias, I'd like to say we're the closest to that, but even us, we're not there. We're not a cut above the rest of college football right now. I don't think anybody is.
Hold on. Michigan Man Moose says, Johnny's skipping my posts. LOL deuces.
Damn.
Bro, I haven't been putting that many posts up because me and Marcus are just going back and forth. If you really want your posts put up to make sure,
super chat.
You do super chat.
Super chat.
Super chat is the way, my brother.
We'll see that.
It's like all these I'll put theirs back up. $2. Loving it. Oh, rah. NDU Sam like he was K. Dinkin' Duncan. If you want it up there, for sure, super chat, my brother. Because we just going back and forth today, so I'm not even putting as many comments up as I usually do. But yeah, I guess the last thing, what did you take from Ohio State? Because we kind of shredded Notre Dame's coach. What did you think about it? We kind of ate him up.
Just let in Notre Dame.
What did you take from Ohio State?
Before Ryan Day got out there and tried to subtweet us, I honestly was a little bit impressed with their resolve. The fact that nothing really seemed like it was going right. They couldn't get the ball to Marv. Even the catches he was getting overturned. Like nothing was going right. They was missing kicks. Couldn't get it on fourth down. They try and jet sweeps on 4th and 1. I like the fact that they were able to wade through all of that. And when Notre Dame presented them an opportunity to take the game, they took it. All right. So I mentioned earlier, I think that they should have moved up in the AP poll. They did. They're 4 now. But however, that whole tirade that their coach gave you after the game, making it seem like everybody was talking about the players. No, brother. No, brother. When we were saying that the team was soft, your team reflects leadership. So in retrospect, we talking about you. And so when you was out there ranting and raving about people saying your team was soft, you really defending yourself. And if that defense is, well, I know on 4th and short a couple times and on 3rd and short a couple times, we couldn't run, pass, or anything, got stopped. But that last one is what really matters, and that makes us tough now.
Gotcha.
Is what I heard. That's what I heard from him. Like, man, listen to me. The stuff that happened in the game did not happen just because y'all ended up winning. Like, it's not like Josh Proctor didn't get put on his ass on that last touchdown that Notre Dame scored. It's not like Notre Dame wasn't running the ball at will. And the only thing that afforded you the opportunity to stop it is when they start changing up what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like they were dominating them for a long stretch of the game. That doesn't just go away. That
second half was crazy.
The way that they played in the second half is not gone. It's not gone just because y'all won the game. Y'all still have to clean that up. And there was no, you didn't hear that from Ryan Day, did you? You didn't hear, oh no, we still got some things we got. No. It was all bravado. We did this and y'all counted us out and and we only played bad one time the last couple of years. Blah, blah, blah. And Lou Holtz this, Lou Holtz that. It wasn't nothing about, hey, we still need to clean this up. We still need to get better passing the ball. They were just over 50% passing the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't very
21 to 39
in that interview.
21 to 39, 1 touchdown. Dog, I mean, that's a pedestrian game, man.
Yeah.
And you tried to throw it away. If they caught the ball, we'd be looking at a Kyle McCord interception to end the game, and he tried to do it twice.
I can't believe he dropped that. Let me read this. Appreciate the $5 super chat, Antoine Johnson. He says OSU and Penn State are built the same way. They're built to pass rush, not fighting them trenches. Go blue. But yeah,
Agreed. I think even with Abdul Carter and Chop Robinson kind of applying the pressure the way that they are right now, they are not very stout up the middle guarding the run. They just aren't.
No, they aren't. OSU,
looking ass.
OSU. That was a puzzling game, but the players were Marcus Freeman. He left them off the hook, but the fact that their players, that defense was demoralized, and they were one or two plays from hanging it up, and you might have saw that big long Donovan's in the clear type of run. It seemed like it was coming.
I don't think I seen JT make a play before that. Like that might have been his first play that he made all game.
That's all they hype him up like he's Bosa, like he's on the edge of being Chase Young or Bosa. Bro, he never does anything but knock down passes. He had one unbelievable game against Penn State. Other than that, he's like non-existent.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Agree. No, I agree. I agree. He's much overhyped. I think it has a little bit more to do with development though, because he has a lot of good physical traits. They haven't gotten a lot out of their defensive line, man. JT, Jack Sawyer, I saw Ron Vincent getting rolled downfield a couple of times by by Notre Dame's interior line. A couple of times he's tackling a guy 5 yards downfield, which means you got blown off the ball all the way back here. It either got drugged or made a tackle when the running back was coming by. Either way, it's not a good thing. Same thing with Mike Hall, right? One time, Mike Hall make a great move for pass rushing or get a tackle for loss, and the next minute he's 7 yards downfield making a tackle. Anytime your interior defensive linemen are more than 3 yards downfield making a tackle is because something went wrong. Somebody didn't feel correctly. They whiffed. They went the wrong way. They vacated a hole. But your interior defensive linemen are not made to make tackles downfield. So if you just pull up the tape, you don't even got to pull up the coach's film because all of the trench work is right there on the TV copy. You can see Teron Vincent time and time after again finishing plays where the linebackers are. Same thing with Mike Hall. They're not developing defensive line the way they used to. Cameron Hayward and Joey Bosa and Chase Young and all that stuff. That's Bosa.
And I think Bosa, the Bosa brothers, and I think Chase Young too. I think they were going to be dominant wherever they went.
Sure. No. They were generational talents, absolutely, and they were freaks. And how I'm giving him the flack right now, me and Larry Johnson, about about not developing the guys he has now. I'll give him credit on Chase Young and Joey Bosa because those guys developed into first round picks. Chase Young was a first overall pick. So I just don't know what's going on recently though, because you think you get the same caliber guy. They're still 5 stars, right? You ain't getting nothing out of Jack Sawyer. He led the team last year in sacks with 3. Okay, so it's just the very unproductive group that usually gets the stamp of first rounder based off of their high school ranking. They're not producing though. They're not producing.
Let me read this one real quick. Appreciate the $5 super chat, Brian Lager. I'm not sure how you say that. Figured out the O-line in the second half. If ND runs the ball 3 times with 2:38 left, they win. OSU had 1 turnover. Yeah, if they run that rock, which they were running it very well at that point, Marcus Freeman, he gonna be sick about that loss
forever because they don't have Ohio State on the schedule for some time again now. So he has to sit on these 2 losses where he had a chance to beat his alma mater and he handed them away.
Yeah, he handed that game away. It was honestly, that's some of the worst from 2:38 on. That's some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. I'm just gonna be honest. Like it was
such a good game leading up, though. It was such a good game, and when they got the ball back with like 4 minutes left, I was like, man, this is perfect situation. This is right where you want to be. You already running the ball successfully. Pick up a couple first downs. Let's get out of Dodge. And they got cute. They called the zone read, and Hartman pulled it and takes a 5-yard loss. Why? Why are we even doing this? Why are we doing this?
Go. Let me see this. Go. This analysis is funny. You're an Ohio State fan because I saw you earlier on the Ohio State stream, bro. Just because we're saying Marcus Freeman, he made coaching blunders. Like,
He did. Absolutely,
it's just a fact. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you, GOJ, is it not beneficial for Ohio State to be running the ball into a light front with one less player than it should be on the field? You don't think that assisted in the touchdown at all whatsoever?
Y'all weren't getting short yardage.
Or what about the dropped interceptions on that last drive? You don't think that assisted you in you winning the game at all? Like, is that not a part of what happened last night, or am I making stuff up? I never understand. Can you tell me exactly what it is about the analysis that's so funny?
You just got outcoached. Like, from 238 on, Ryan Day outcoached Marcus Freeman. Put him in a clinic.
He played 99% of a game and let the 0.1 give it away.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
He just got outcoached, and also, I mean, there was some luck. Ohio State got some lucky breaks. Also, the dude jumps. I couldn't believe he dropped that pick when he jumped it so well, bro. Like,
he read it. He read him like a book.
Like, bro, I'm just like, okay, that's it. It's the Asante Samuel play when New England was undefeated in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the pick goes through his hands. A couple plays later, Patriots lose an undefeated season. Same type of thing. When you drop interceptions, you can count on it. And even Madden is like this. You drop an interception, you about to get
you're gonna give up
you about to lose. You drop that late interception to end the game, you're finna lose, bro.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. And I'll give Morrison a little bit of bail on his, but the only reason why I felt like he should have caught his is because that thing hit him right here. It's
like their DBs, like they I don't know what was up with him. They just could not make those big time interceptions.
Nope, couldn't squeeze him.
Couldn't make the play. So
you look at the stat line and you hear them talk about how he played. It seems like he played an efficient game and didn't turn the ball over. No, he tried his damnedest. He tried his damnedest to throw that ball away. They just didn't catch it.
He tried his hardest to throw that thing away.
He wanted to get that ball away so bad they just wouldn't catch it.
Did you see him? Did you see him after they scored the touchdown and he was sitting on the bench?
Mm-mm.
Boy,
Kyle McCord,
he was about to. I thought he was about to pass out. He was over there like this. Like, he was about to pass out, like, bro, because if they lose, you know what's coming. You know it's coming.
Oh yeah, no, that the fan base gonna be all over. The same fans that's saying he's legit now would have ripped him to shreds if they'd have lost that game last night.
I appreciate it, Goes. We all got opinions, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's just people say that you're hating or stuff like that when you're just telling it like it is. Everybody, you can always get lucky. Georgia was lucky. Y'all field goal kicker missed that kick, and it's coming around the world. It should be coming back to Atlanta pretty soon, from its worldwide journey. It should be back. You know what I'm saying? But that's luck. You know what I'm saying? He just missed it. Sports is part of sports is being lucky. I've been arguing with people all day about this on Facebook. Oh, it's luck. You guys are hating on us, bro. You were lucky to win the game. Like, be real. Like, I've seen us be lucky before. It doesn't take anything away from that you won. It just means
if it's wrong, I just want to hear where it's wrong. That's all. If there's a challenge to the take, I love to hear. That's what we sitting on here for. I'm here for it. I just like to hear it.
Luck is for the unprepared. So when that dude tipped tipped that ball and it went up in the air, and it so happens to come straight down to Stover. Is that luck, or is that Stover just he knew it was going to get
He's
tipped?
great.
He was prepared for it,
Johnny.
He was
That's
waiting
why.
for it.
No. The ball came to him because he was prepared to catch it. That's why.
Like, come on, bro.
And they didn't catch the interception on that drive because the ball was prepared to hit the ground. It's preparation.
Exactly, right here. And this is, I don't see why people you can't just keep it real. The touchdown to Cornelius Johnson last week.
Luck. Complete luck. Complete and utter luck. And it's like there was no skill involved
away from the team, bro. Like, you got it's like, I don't see what the problem is, man. Just come on.
Appreciate the comment, though.
But yeah, I mean, you got anything else? I think we done covered about everything.
One thing I wanted to say, and I know the Ohio State contingency watching us right now would love to discuss this. Did you see Gene Smith up on the Hill this week at Congress? Oh, yeah. The former athletic director had a lot to say about NIL and, certain things that go on in Ohio State. But the most explosive thing that he said was that the going rate for a top-level recruit to come to their school just to visit is $5,000.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
$5,000. And on top of that, if we you don't want to come here, you don't want to come to Ohio State, oh, we get it. We understand. You can't go to Michigan, so what's it going to take? They'll pay you more not to go to the rival than they even paid you to come visit. Now, that's not an NIL deal. That's not a, hey, be in this commercial and we'll pay you. No. It's quid pro quo. It's literally bribery. Do not go to Michigan, even if you don't go to us, and we'll pay you.
Crazy.
Welcome to college football. Everybody's not doing that, bro. Everybody's not doing that. They're just not. And if you believe they are, then you're making excuses for your own program. There's a reason why we criticize the Miamis of the world. There's a reason why we criticize the Texas A&Ms. There's a reason why we criticize them, because they go out there and they buy rosters. Plain and simple. Don't make excuses for it just because we found out it was your university.
Yeah,
everybody's
I
not
did hear
doing that.
This stuff.
Now you want to say they'll find a way to get a recruit some money? Sure. Everybody's not actively paying players that aren't on their roster not to go to their rivals. That's not happening. That's not a thing. Except, I guess it's a thing here in Columbus, Ohio, but it ain't a thing nationally. And you're assuming because you're protecting the ones that we do know. I heard your athletic director say that it happened for sure. We know for sure it's happening at Ohio State. You saying we don't know about all these other schools is just conjecture. Tell me what we know about Ohio State. Right, but then we got to get an investigation and a suspension over buying kids cheeseburgers during the dead period or watching Zoom during the dead period.
Yeah, crazy.
Fam. Oh, my goodness. That's maddening. That was frustrating.
Got you. So I guess I don't know who it was, but they wanted Michigan versus Nebraska.
Oh, quick little preview.
You can take the same game plan and just put it right for Nebraska because it's the same type of scheme, same team, basically.
I didn't watch Nebraska play this week. Are they still starting Jeff Sims?
As far as I know.
Oh, yeah, it's over now. It's over. It's okay. So then stay disciplined. This will be good practice for, like, if we end up facing a mobile quarterback later in the season in the playoffs, right? This will be good preparation for that. So I think while we're going through these teams that they're clearly overmatched to, look for small things that you can improve on. What do they do well so that we can get some actual rep in? Are they a good passing team? Are they a good running team? Excuse me. Do they have good personnel at a certain position? You got to start looking for little details to improve on because Michigan is going to be pretty much favored heavily until they get to Maryland, maybe a little bit of a closer margin. Penn State for sure, right? Will be a bit of a closer margin.
Okay,
They may be favored by 4 touchdowns over Michigan State at this point.
So it looked like they benched. Looks like they benched Jeff Sims.
Jeff
So
Sims?
you have Heinrich Harburg. He was 8 of 17 with a TD, but he had 19 carries for 157.
Okay. So same thing, right? We got to deal with a rushing quarterback that will probably have to hold in check. That is going to be a test in itself. It's kind of like playing the triple op offense, right? Like it's going to take a lot of mental fortitude. It's going to take a lot of repping, and you got to be disciplined. That's something to focus on.
He's a big dude, 6'5", 215.
They just had that sitting on the sideline while Jeff Sims was giving the season away.
Yeah, you know how they do.
All right, well,
yeah. So I'm gonna have to deep dive. I'm gonna have to watch Nebraska's game now that he's starting.
Yeah, offensively, I think they'll get anything they want. I'm not really scared of Nebraska's secondary, especially after seeing them play Shador and them in Colorado. Mm-hmm. They weren't really able to pressure him as much as they would have liked to, so I don't really see them being able to get after JJ. Maybe a little bit of concern in the running game, but eventually we wear everybody down. So 45. It's been hard to get to the 40s. I need to leave that alone. Let's say 38 to 6.
It's going to be hard to get 38.
I think so?
Yeah, because and I'm not saying that because of Michigan. I'm saying that because both of these teams are going to be trying to kill that clock, I'm pretty sure.
Nebraska for sure going to be trying to kill the clock.
Exactly. Sure. And if this is what their new offense is going to be, he had 19 carries against Louisiana Tech, and Anthony Grant had 22 carries. So,
if they want to run the quarterback 20 times, good luck. Good luck. Yeah. I hope he holds up. That might end up playing after all.
Yeah. So, but it's pretty much the same thing, except looks like they're gonna run this dude. Like they're a little more prepared to run this dude into the ground. Which, if you got a quarterback that can take it, sometimes that can open it on up and make it a longer day for whoever's going against him.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
I'm gonna have to watch this dude. That's a lot of carries. That's a lot of carries. Even if it is Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, but then I'm listening to it. You said he was 8 of 19
throwing. 8 of 17 for 107. So as far as
it sounded like they had to. Yeah, it sounded like they had to throw it.
Yeah.
Or run it, excuse me.
Yeah, it's the same situation as far as the passing games, but looks like this dude might be a better runner. But I just gotta watch the film, honestly. I gotta watch that game. So that's all I got for this one. Marcus, you can say your piece. Let them know where you at.
For sure, man. I'm at Back of the Bus Podcast always, and then the new page is House Divided. Make sure everybody heads over there and give me a subscribe if you would. I'd appreciate it.
Deserved. They do good content over there. I watch their stuff because they do comic. They do comic on the Back of the Bus, and they do like pop culture. It is hilarious, honestly. That pop culture is hilarious, but then they talk football on the Back of the Bus, so it's all good though.
Comedic stuff on Back of the Bus, all the football stuff is on House Divided.
Exactly, but it's all good. Very good listens, especially if you at work and you just bored like I am. I'm at work driving around, going in the grocery store, so I'm listening to all type of podcasts. So it's a good listen.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir. But I appreciate all the super chats. Everybody joining the live. I'll make my pregame video probably maybe tonight or tomorrow for Nebraska. But as always, like, share, subscribe. And as always, go blue.
Go blue.